Ladies and gentlemen, we've been fooled, we've been bamboozled, we've been befiddled, and for what? I don't know, you tell me. You see, a little bit of a while ago now, Riot gave us an update on how they are going to tackle the lore of League of Legends. It was kinda a big deal that spawned quite a few videos on this channel, but overall we learned that the entire universe of League of Legends is being united, which is awesome for so many reasons. But on top of that, using this argument, Riot also explained why we haven't seen too many short stories on universe for a while. Well, the short answer is, people don't read. What's worse, they don't read so much that Riot announced that besides the normal champion bios, they would be no longer supporting color stories, which are the extra stories that come out once the champion comes out. You know, it's how this is the bio of Cassante and this was his color story. With this announcement, it would be just his bio. So what the heck is that? So yeah, Hui came out, we got his champion spotlight, we got his awesome gameplay, and oh yeah, his color story also came out. The one that Riot said that they wouldn't do. Okay, to be fair, I think I remember that Riot mentioned that they would do these whenever they would make sense. I could be totally on copium, however. Anyway, the point is, Riot told us that there would no longer be color stories, which is why Neferi didn't get one, nor did Vex, but Hui! Ooh, Hui deserves one. And I think I know why. My suspicion right now is that Hui got a color story because he didn't have a massive cinematic. Wait, did I say Vex before? I meant Briar. Yeah, Briar got a big cinematic and so did Neferi. Which could be why they didn't really need a color story to support what kind of a character they are. But Hui's cinematic was only a little bit of actual cinematography and then mostly gameplay. So to really support his story, I assume they decided to give him a proper color story. So yeah, you know what? We should be expecting these whenever these make sense. Now here is the thing, out of nowhere, for no real reason, Hui then also got cinematic? I don't really think it is a cinematic, but for some reason, on the Korean side, on Bilibili, the League of Legends account just gave us a bit of a cutscene more than a cinematic. But yeah, there you can see that Hui is painting someone. My suspicion was that this would be a video playing in the client, but now I honestly just don't know what this is. It's not a real cinematic though, I can tell you that. Okay, here's the thing though, some of you may know that me covering the stories of League of Legends is not doing too great, to be honest. Covering the lore that comes from Legends of Runeterra? Amazing! Covering the lore of new champions? Not amazing. I think it's all because people are just not excited about new champions anymore. Because the numbers prove that they still do care about Mordekaiser. But since we already started talking about this color story, it would be stupid not to cover it, so here we go. Okay, first thing to mention here, you'll see that this color story is basically Hui's story from his perspective. So expect to meet another champion through his eyes. But throughout the story, it is segmented into 4 parts, each of which has a theme. Now, what kind of a theme it is, you might ask? Well, if you go into the metadata of each picture, you will actually see the theme. It is burning, drowning, searching, crying. This is like the 4 phases I have every night. And yes, you'll see that these images heavily remind us of demonic powers, but yeah, it was confirmed there are no demons. Maybe that's why people don't really care about Hui's story anymore. Maybe they were just excited about the demons. Anyway, let's dive right into the color story, called Painting Framed in Half Light. Visions pour in, no mercy from my mind tonight. I stand in a glade and imagine it drowning in sights unreal. Grass melts, rock swirls into twisted faces, leaves turn into liquid and drip down, branches bleeding into pools. The moon is a closed eye. Brush in hand, my eternal palette emerges. Memories surface. I repaint, relive. A man burned before me in his own armory. Around us swelled a painted fire, with flames the color of daybreak. Its golden core beat with pain, with every wound his weapon had ever inflicted. The blaze climbed the walls, but did not catch, shedding neither ash nor smoke and spreading only as far as I willed it. Yet it flared more vibrantly, more violently. than any real fire. The man writhed, his senses scourged deeper than bone. He surged toward a weapon rack, lined with serrated carvers, Noxian steel with Kashuri handiwork. Kashuri, the thought arises. Still far each step further from Koyan. These blades were used to maim and kill. He caused suffering. He deserved to suffer. Rending the flames of a forge, I drew answers out of him. Who he worked with. For how long? Why? His fury strained through every gasp. My painting thrashed in his eyes, mirroring every drop of wrath. To make it stop, he offered everything. Money, arms, revenge by his hand. But the only thing I cared about was this moment between us. Every vision that burdened me became his burden. The fire surged from my imagination into his, lightening the weight of my mind. I kept my art from destroying him. We both now live with the marks of this. But while he choked within flashbacks of the inferno, I survived in it. The tide pulls me away. I repaint, relive. A woman ferried me across troubled waters. Around us, a golden drawn breeze. Dappled lights with specks of lantern bugs. We sat across from each other. Gulfweed clambered from the surf and gripped the oars. Water lilies grew from the wellspring of my mind. An offering, I shaped them. The gulfweed took the painted blossoms instead, praying them apart. The woman's hand found rhythm. The course was not always like this, she said. She had been forced to carry marauders, arms runners, assassins, all with dark intent that seeped into the channel, which grew sick with chop and murk. In her voice, a deep stained guilt. I gathered color from my palette and matched the sweeps of her oars, creating lilies and life anew, carves in the plums and oranges of sunset. I inspired her to recall kind memories from beneath layers of pain. Everything that burdened her became my burden. The canal turned from lashing the pieces within itself to cradling them. The lines of woman's eyes furled with gentle joy. Somewhere in our minds, birds sang. Our steadied thoughts, steadied hands, brought us to safer shores. There's light to what lives in my mind, and I can choose to paint that way. But light always casts a shadow. I repaint, relive. An artist stood beside me in Koyan's studio. Around us, inky blackness broken by candlelight. Far below, an open window. The ocean. A violet gorge with sea foam for teeth, consuming itself over and over. The temple of Koyan stood for what would become its last night. All things must end, said Jin. He watched a candle burning. I looked to the tide. I hope you enjoyed your time here, I said. He was still as death. What does a wave feel for the rock upon which it crashes? Everything, I thought. Nature is emotional, capricious, and harmonious. Nothing, I said, shrugging. You feel more for Koyan than that, surely. This place showed me all I desire to see, Jin said, except one final piece. He turned toward me, and I him, which is your painting, Hui. The truth of it. I know forced performances, and you've always hidden something. I'd like to know what. My eyes widened. What color they were then, I couldn't tell. What Jin found churning within, I dreaded. What do you mean? I said. I'm true to myself. An eye opened on my canvas, searching for anything from Jin. Some envy, resentment, passion, sorrow, any feeling to explain him. When we meet again, I'll greet him like before, eat together, watch as he shifts in a new light. Ask, why Koyan? Why me? And I'll paint what I know of him, returning life to his murders, putting colors back on agonized faces, surrounding us with a darkness so bright it becomes blinding, and so blinding it becomes freeing. Art saves me, yet it can shatter me. Sometimes I think I'm already lost. No, Jin said. You are not. I remember how he convinced me to reveal my art, but I still paint arms to hold my past self back, eyes to glower, mouths to scream. At the same time, the arms push, the eyes behold, the mouths goat. In past and present, I lift the brush. I finish tonight's paintings. Around me, black and gold, fractures of earth, light emanating from the chasms, songbirds in gilt cages, the infinity of an eye straining with full veins. The moon witnesses, blot everything beneath it. Goyen, Jin, and I'm still left with myself. The vision erupts. In its place, the forest is just a forest, holding itself together. Tears draw down my face. My palette dissipates. Awake, I dream of my next piece. And just like that, that was Hui's color story. Of course, remember, Hui is supposed to be a complicated champion, and so everything is vague on purpose. He is good, he is bad, he is light, he is dark, all that kind of thing. And yes, he still doesn't want revenge for Jin, in case people still think that. He just wants to find Jin to get some answers from him. And in this color story, we just got a little bit of a taste of what it looks like to travel around as Hui. Yeah, sometimes he may be harming people with his art for some answers, and sometimes he's just vibing with people. But throughout all of this, I still have to say, I have not been convinced that Hui is not linked to demons in any way, shape or form. I mean, look at the second story. Yeah, that's Ashlash, I'm telling you.